Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan in the background here with a Screenwriter's Rant on Baby Money. This looks like a pretty awesome film. Here's the mom. I don't know what her name is. Getting looking at the baby, and this is the dad. And turns out, Baby Money is a reference to the crime they're about to commit. They're about to rob this old couple, and it all goes wrong. I love these kinds of movies because they're such a great setup. Yeah, she's pregnant, and these guys go in to rob the house, and they got the drop on the old man, but his wife comes in with a gun, and then next thing you know, they're shooting at each other, and it's a mess. It's a mess, and then she drives off, but it looks like a neighbor gets her license plate. They are so effed. They are so effed. That's a great setup for a film. It's a great classic setup because then it's all about the characters and what are they going to do. I mean, this is like film noir, right? Nobody's clean. Nobody's clean in this. Maybe the victims of the crime, you might say, but I'm sure the filmmakers might throw some shade on them as well to make it even more gray, like these shades of gray. So she's just trying to get through the night because she needs the father, and she's doing it all for the kid. Although she's drinking, I'm not sure about that. I don't know what she's drinking though. Maybe she's not drinking that. She looks like she's taking a shot. That's no good, Ma. So you see here the deadly home invasion. So somebody died, at least probably both. And then they end up going to I think the nurse's house, who's the baby. The pregnant woman's doctor, and then at some point she has to ditch her car because they got her license plate, and then he finally calls her because he lost his phone and is like, you got to come and get me. And it's like a mother's work is never done, and it's all about her doing what she can to save the baby, right? Because the babies change everything. Babies change everything. And here she is, she takes out that dude. And it's a mess, man. It's a mess. But this is the kind of mess you want to see in the movie. Here she is tied up. Some dude ties her up, and oh man. And it's called Baby Money. Great setup for a film. Red Hound Films. Let's see. Written by, man, these are hard to read credits. Holy crap, they're tough to read. Hot pink letters, so tight. Written by, looks like Michaela, Michael, spelled weirdly with a K and an H, no C. Maybe it's W. No, I think it's Michael Basili, and looks like MJ Paulo wrote it. Directed by Michael Basili and Luke Walpath. Now let's see, is one of them starring? No, and I don't recognize any of the actors, but they look good. And when I say they look good for the roles, not necessarily that they're handsome and beautiful, although they are, but they look good for the roles. They look about to be the right age, because these are actors in their early 20s, but they're playing characters who are doing things kids, I was going to say, adults in their 20s do, which is they have a ton of sex, they get in trouble with a pregnancy, and unfortunately a lot of them think they can get away with committing a home invasion. Home invasions, don't let anyone kid you. That's a dangerous undertaking, especially in the United States, even in a gun control state or city like Chicago or state like New York. You're taking your life into your own hands. I mean, if you're going to commit a crime, Jesus, home invasion is the absolute worst, riskiest one you could possibly take, because you have to be utterly ruthless or really do your homework for that to come off and get no one hurt and you to make out. Now, some people do it. The guys who burgle homes when people are on vacation in the summer, those guys know what they're doing because they research, right? They'll case a neighborhood for weeks. They'll have inside information. They'll know you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. No one's going to be there. But even in those cases, right? You could go break into the house. There's a dog, or worse, a dog sitter. You know, it's one thing you have to take care of a pet. That's, you know, that's something. As long as you don't have to kill the poor thing, you can usually give the dog a nice treat with a little sleepy time in it, and the dog will just go off on his own. And most dogs aren't going to attack you. I had a friend, though. He had a dog, and he trained him. If it was anybody but him, that dog would go absolutely bananas. I mean, if you broke into that guy's house, you'd be dead. That dog would kill you. So these are the things that go wrong with a home invasion. And then just that, okay, yeah, they were supposed to be on vacation, but turns out they're home. You were pretty sure they didn't have a gun. Turns out they got one. Turns out they got a big sword and stab you through the heart. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, which makes it a great setup for a film, screenwriters, because so many things can go wrong in a home invasion. And when you're doing a low-level crime drama, that's the perfect low-level crime. You know, when you're talking about like a armed robbery at a liquor store, which is totally unoriginal and dangerous as hell, yeah, there's only so many things that can go wrong, right? I mean, either the guy behind the counter has a weapon or he doesn't. He's definitely got an alarm. There's definitely video cameras, and that's part of the reason no one does those jobs anymore. See, you get an old person or an old couple in a house, you know, that's easy money, assuming they're not armed, assuming they get the drop on you, assuming they didn't install an alarm, assuming they're not home. So many things. I'm sorry. I did so much research on mafia about this kind of stuff. It's just like, I wonder why anyone gets that desperate to rob someone. It's so horrible. And then these people end up killing the couple or killing at least one of them. Man, you're screwed. You are screwed. Yeah, you might make it to Mexico. You know, with the twos of dollars you've stolen, then what? And then you're screwed. Then you're in Mexico. So you better know some Spanish. You better have some relatives down there. But even so, they'll bring you back from Mexico if they have to. So that's the stakes in this, right? They are so screwed. But the interesting focus is on the mother, because she may not be as screwed, right? Because ultimately it's about her and the baby. So she may, I expect that the twist in this, let's do the act breakdown. First act, it's all set up, of course. The baby mom is like with this guy, finds out she's pregnant. It's like, oh man, I'm pregnant, and this knucklehead of mine is gonna rob a house. And he says it's gonna be easy, but it never is, right? So they rob the house, it all goes wrong. Deadly shooting, he's on the run. Now she's got to save him. Oh, complications. They get her license plate, she loses the car, he's stuck in somebody's house. The police are trying to find him. She has to steal a car, she goes for help, ends up getting messed around by the guy she goes for help, because that guy's going to turn her in for the reward or whatever, who knows. So it's a second act back and forth. Then the third act is probably a resolution. I'm going to say here, this is my guess, that the twist is the baby mother only saves the father to use him as leverage to get off so she can raise the baby. And look, I wouldn't blame a character or a person who did that, right? Especially if you weren't totally down with the robbery to begin with. And that's what usually happens. You know, the guy goes to jail, takes the fall for the whole crew, essentially. The mother, judges aren't going to put the woman in jail. They may not want to put her in jail to have a baby and then have the baby taken away by the state if they can avoid it, if she's genuinely sorry. It depends on the judge. So that's the way I see it. Like, she's going to go through all this trouble to save the father, only to turn him in and get out from under the charge. But it looks like a good movie. I know. I go on and on. But Baby Money looks pretty sweet. From Red Hound Films. I would totally see this movie. I love it. Love film noir. Love crime dramas. This is a great setup. A lot of potential here. The cast looks solid. The trailer was intense. This is how you set up a movie. I'm excited about this movie. Baby Money. Check it out.